Welcome, I'm Nid, wellnesspreneur and consultant to other wellnesspreneurs, and in this video we're going to have a look at equal opportunities as an area that we need to consider when providing our services to others. And the first thing to note, obviously, is that this is an incredibly wide-ranging and highly sensitive area to look at, and I'm going to be keeping this video quite short, so it'll be very generic and big picture. So in that respect, please bear in mind that each scenario is going to take an awareness of yourself and the individuals involved, and really trying to hold that space of being a witness with mindfulness to your own inner goings on, as well as those maybe going on in front of you. So the first thing to note is that across most common law jurisdictions, so those are of the UK, America, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the Western world, we consider that everybody should have an equal opportunity in life, and that is whether or not it's to obtain a job, whether or not it's how they're treated in services, or whether or not it's access to services. Now, this is a meritocratic method, which basically says that we're all equal, and that based on how we perform on our merits, we should have access to those services. And there is a requirement in a business to have an equal opportunities policy that pretty much sets out as such, and how you would go about as a business to consider making sure that you're always ensuring equal opportunities for everybody and that there is no discrimination. And a way to show that you are living your equal opportunities policy is in your marketing materials, your website, and the content that you use on social media to convey to your clients and to prospective teachers that you are inclusive and diverse as an employer. Now, if you're a self-employed teacher or clinician, then this might be a bit less relevant because you're probably using your name as part of your brand and your face is your image. And so it can be a bit harder unless you've got lots of images with clients to show that inclusivity. So bear that in mind, being a slight difference, but also who's your target market. So in your marketing materials, who is it that you're trying to speak to? Whether it's a corporate client or whether or not it's a local community, you want your images to reflect the kind of clients that you have and aspire to have. And that wants to be honest about what it is that you already are working with, as well as maybe aspirational. So trying to work out what community you need to be reaching into and how you might need to diversify your own experience before you can show that inclusivity in your marketing. However, showing our inclusivity through marketing materials and target audiences is really, I would say, not the approach that we want to take in terms of how to actually provide equal opportunities. Much of the research that has been done over the few decades that equal opportunities has been pushed and promoted has shown that there is an unconscious bias to those who are not provided the same starting point as those of privileged backgrounds. And that equal opportunities law, although idealistic, doesn't really provide that opportunity for redress. Over the decades, there have been various court cases and decisions that have shown that there can be an opportunity for positive discrimination, or affirmative action as it can be called, which is where in certain circumstances it might be permitted to positively choose to discriminate in favour of those who have less advantage in order to create a more diverse workforce or student body in education settings. Now, this is a tricky area, and general advice is normally not to try and positively discriminate because of the risk of litigation from those who come from a privileged background, recognising that there is discrimination at hand. But examples where this can take place is, say, with a women's only class where you'd need to have a woman to teach in order for whatever the purpose is for that women's only group. And that often can be seen quite subtly in the industry, but being mindful about the reasons why you would be choosing to positively discriminate and needing to be really clear about the rationale for that is going to be a key part of any advertising for such a positive or affirmative action. Why is it that affirmative action can sometimes take place and other times it doesn't really work? Well, the law does say everyone is of equal standing. And so by choosing to actively discriminate in favour of somebody, even if they come from a disadvantaged background, is technically not providing an equal opportunity. But there are lots of studies that have shown over the years that even people looking at two CVs with exactly the same experience and education do not have the same opportunity for a role because their names appear to be from different ethnical backgrounds. Now, this shows an unconscious bias that many people might hold without knowing it, and is one of the biggest issues around creating a diverse workplace, a diverse experience for people in classes. And so this tends to show that we have an issue around how can people move into a space that is held by those of privilege. So how do we think about trying to address this in our studio or teaching environment? Well, the key thing to note is that it's taking that lesson of going into the community that you wish to serve, to be open-minded and open-hearted as to the inquiry both of yourself and of others. To learn about the community that you're going to go into, do the research and understand their history and what it is that maybe they struggle and what their anger and resentments might be. Understand your own triggers, what may rise within you if you're challenged and find it difficult, but also try to understand their triggers so that you can be sensitive in your own behaviour when you decide to step out. Do the self-work. Somatic work is really important when it comes to our epigenetic biases and inherited trauma. And I've linked down some somatic suggestions below in the video that you can look into for doing your own release work of your own inner trauma and bias and holding of privilege. Once you've done your own work and you're really aware of your triggers and your biases, then it's time to think about going into another person's space. Ask them, be humble and open to just listen to what it is that they may be willing to invite you into. And then when you go to their space, just listen and watch. Observe how they observe you and how they work and interact together. And when you do offer, don't expect them to be willing and open to receive you with arms. They may not be very interested in your offerings and your engagement. And that's something that can be hard to accept, but is also something that you need to learn and understand before you can think that you have knowledge to offer and bring to somebody else. It always comes around to being able to co-regulate your own nervous system when you're with other people. So remaining calm, being empathetic and direct in the communication that you have. Keeping that sense of witness state about any of your own privilege or fears or anger or trauma or triggers. And allowing any of it to unfold. Be willing to offer any kind of redress or apology. To learn and to be that of a childlike mind that really doesn't have any knowledge. The only way that I speak to this was that I initially began with 5 years of working as a dance teacher in disabilities. And I also engaged with disability as a lawyer on the receiving end with my own head injury. These are things that, although a specific area of discrimination, I had to learn how to really have no idea about what it was that I was going in to offer. And to just wait and watch and offer and see what reactions I got when I would teach. It was a wonderful and hugely learning experience, but also showed me how little I know and how much I'm always needing to learn when it comes to my community and what I really have to offer. I hope that this video gives you some idea about how to maybe approach equal opportunities as a wellness professional that goes beyond what the law asks you to do, but really asks you to tap into that heart space that you are in offering well-being to others. If you enjoy the videos, hit subscribe and make sure you get the alerts when a new one is released. If you want any new topics or anything more specific, get in touch, let me know. I love hearing your comments and your feedback. Keep shining your light and doing your good work. Our self-growth is all that we have as a gift to offer others. Take care.